Hi, are you worried about your retirement? I might be able to help you with that. My name's Patricia Howard. I'm the author of the No Regrets Guide to Retirement and a qualified financial planner. This is one of a series of videos that I'm loading onto YouTube, providing general advice to help all Australians plan for a better retirement. I hope this video helps you. Well, today I thought I'd tackle one of those really tough, nitty-gritty financial issues that people really struggle to understand. So you might want to make a cup of tea to listen to this one. Now, I'm going to talk about franking credits. Now, people struggle to understand what franking credits are all about because it's really complex. It's really complex even for tax agents to explain in a coherent way that everyday people can understand. So I'm not going to go into too much details about the tax side of things, but provide you just with some simple information in terms of what you really need to know. Okay, so way back in the day when Paul Keating was Treasurer, he decided to introduce basically franking credits, or at least the start of it. It was fine-tuned a bit more by John Howard, but basically it all started with Paul Keating. What it means is sort of a very convoluted thing for companies when they're paying out dividends. Depending on their internal structure, they can generate what are called franking credits. This is meant to be sort of a trade-off so that people don't pay tax twice on the income that's being generated by companies. Now, as I said, I'm not going to go into too much of the tax side of things. What it does mean, though, is that for anyone in retirement, if they've got their retirement savings sorted properly, by that I mean if your retirement savings are sitting within super and you're paying yourself an account-based pension from those assets within super, then those assets really should be invested predominantly in listed companies on the Australian Stock Exchange that are paying high yielding, so very high dividends that are fully franked. Now, the figures will vary from, year to year, but basically what this means is that if you put money into a really solid company like Commonwealth Bank, to name one, although I could name half a dozen, BHP, Wesfarmers, just to name a couple of others. All of these companies are now paying what are referred to as very high yielding dividends that are fully franked. So again, the numbers will vary, but typically they're paying dividends of about 5%. And in addition to that, you will receive another chunk of money that's referred to as the franking credit. And typically, if it's a fully franked dividend, that will be a third. So that means that a Commonwealth Bank share, when it's yielding 5%, if you add in the full value of those franking credits, that Commonwealth Bank share will now be generating 7%. So that's pretty attractive in an environment where most people struggle to get 1% on a term deposit. Now, you need to think this through carefully. You may or may not feel comfortable in investing directly in shares, and I'll talk at length about that in another video. But you really need to understand that at the moment, this is the sweet spot for investing for people in retirement, I should say. This is why they call these companies, the big banks, the big miners, Telstra, the retiree's best friend, because they are paying out these fully franked dividends that are paying these really strong yields. And for people in retirement that have their affairs structured correctly, that have all their money in super, they will receive the full benefit of those franking credits. So again, a really complex issue. You don't really need to understand the mechanics of the tax system behind it. But what you do need to understand is that you should have at least some of your retirement savings